by cell emission. Green tax and polluting activities to reduce emission. Renewable energy, solar, wind. In a renewable targeted by 5 PM custom solar pumps for farmers. Renewable energy. As a solar mission, part of NAPCC. NAPCC National Action Plan on Climate Change 2008. Mission LIFE. Lifestyle for Environment 2022. Pro Planet Action. Green hydrogen. Hydrogen produced using renewable electricity. Climate Finance. Fund for Mitigation. Adaptation for Developing Nation. Loss and damage. Compensation for unavoidable climate impacts. India Net Zero Target 2070. Letter 97 COP Convention of Climate Change. Conference of Parties. Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change. UN Body. 2023 report. Human caused warming in climate mitigation. Reduce greenhouse gas emission. Climate impact on insurance. High premiums on uninsurable areas. Higher premiums. High premiums. Climate impact on insurance, high premiums. Climate impact on infrastructure, road, ports damaged by floods. Mental health, anxiety, trauma from disasters, anxiety, trauma. Children, nutrition, health, education, disruption. Women, higher vulnerability in agriculture and water. Poverty, disproportionate effect on poor nations. Internal cross-border movement. Mitigation, climate impact. Climate impact on tourism. Sky resort, beaches affected. Beaches affected. Climate impact on tourism. Sky resort, beaches affected. Internal or cross-border movement. Migration. Poor nations. Energy, hydropower variability. Cooling demand rise. Impact tourism, sky regions, beaches affected. Impact on fisheries, fish migration, stock decline. Forest pest outbreaks. Shifting vegetation zones. Small island, impact on small island. Submersion risks, freshwater loss. Arctic fastest warming, ice loss. Frost melt, ice loss. Impact in India, monsoon variability, heat waves, cyclones. Economic impact. GDP loss, damage to infrastructure, insurance. GDP loss, damage to infrastructure, insurance. Economic impact. GDP loss, monsoon variability, heat waves, cyclones. Economic. GDP loss, damage to infrastructure, insurance. Ocean deoxygenation, warm water holds less oxygen. Vector-borne disease, Malaria, dengue spread to new regions. GDP loss, damage to infrastructure, insurance. Glacier retreat, Himalayan glacier sinking, affects river. Malaria, dengue, wildfires, increased frequency and intensity with warming. Desertification, land degradation in dry areas due to climate. Land degradation in dry area due to climate. Coral bleaching, coral expels algae due to the warm water. Coral bleaching. Expels algae due to warm water. Coral expels. Land degradation, desertification in dry areas due to climate. Coastal erosion. Accelerated by rising sea level. Coastal जो erosion है by rising sea level. Food security threatened by erratic rainfall and heat. Coastal erosion accelerated by rising sea level. By rising sea levels, accelerated. Accelerated by rising sea levels. Flooding, heat waves, infrastructure stress. Flooding, heat waves. Climate refugees, people displaced by the climate impact. Accelerated by rising sea levels. Coral bleaching means coral expels algae due to warm water. Flooding, climate refugee, people displaced by the climate impacts. Climate impact on agriculture, crop yield loss, shifting season. Climate impact on water, glacial melt, drought. Flood. Impact on health stress, vector diseases, malnutrition. Impact on biodiversity, habitat loss, species migration, extinction, coral bleaching, sea level rise, acidifications. So many difficulties. Permafrost, permanently frozen ground. Release CH4 when melted. Frozen ground, permafrost. Blue carbon store in coastal ecosystem. Carbon store like mangroves. Climate model. Computer simulation of climate system. Simulation of climate system. Extreme weather. Cyclones, floods, droughts intensified by warming. Next BJP is extreme weather, cyclones, floods, drought intensified by warming. Cyclone, flood or drought, extreme weather, cyclone, floods, drought. Urban heat island, site is warmer than surrounding rural areas. Cyclone, floods, droughts, intensified warming, extreme weather. Cyclone, flood or drought. Urban heat is warmer than surrounding rural areas. Heat wave, a prolonged period of excessive heat. prolonged period, prolonged climate tipping point, irreversible change, ice sheet collapse, climate variability, natural fluctuations like El Nino. Anthropogenic means caused by human activity. Anthropogenic. Milankovitch cycle. Earth orbit changes causing ice ages. Earth orbit changes causing ice ages. Milankovitch cycles. Paleoclimate. Climate history from ice cores. Tree rings. Tree. Climate history from ice cores. Ice cores. Tree rings. Paleoclimate. Climate history. Climate sensitivity. How much temperature rises CO2 top building? Positive feedback. Melting ice reduces albedo. Increases warming. Ice reflect sunrise, but on melting ice it absorbs. Positive feedback. Melting ice reduces albedo. Climate feedback. Process that amplifies the dampens warming. Thermal expansion. Water expands as it warms. Melting glacier ice sheets. Thermal expansion. Sea level rise. Melting glaciers ice. Thermal expansion. Water expands as it warms. Rising sea level. Water. Ocean acidification. CO2 reserves in ocean. Lower pH. Urban sources system that releases CO2 burning coal. Urban sink natural system that absorbs CO2. Forest oceans absorb. Albedo. Reflectivity of earth surface. Ice has high albedo. Earth surface. Reflectivity of sunlight. Ice has high albedo, but ice when melts not reflect absorb. Temperature increase. Relative heating. Change in energy balance due to the global greenhouse gas. Relative heating means change in energy balance. See chlorofluorocarbon, man-made, its refrigerant, ozone depleting. N2O source, fertilizer industrial process, combustion. N2O, which deplete ozone layer. Fertilizer industrial process, combustion. CS4 sources, rice paddies, livestock, landfills, natural gas, rice paddies, livestock, woodland, marshland. CS4 deplete ozone layer. CO2 sources, fossil fuel burning, deforestation, cement production. CO2 burning, deforestation. CO2 increase global warming, rise in earth average surface temperature. Rise in earth average surface temperatures. Greenhouse gas. CO2, CS4, N2O, chlorofluorocarbons. Whether short-term climate change, long-term shift global temperature and weather patterns. Global